Welcome to another round of Charleston Battery Weekly here with SDH Networks and OSG Sports. Big weekend coming in Group H. Matches in hand for the Charleston Battery, and it's time to catch up with Mike Kelleher in the front office, Chief Operating Officer for the Charleston Battery. He takes over the A block, so I guess it's a Special K. That's the working title. And then Player Spotlight, Robbie Crawford this week. We'll catch up with the new guy, one of the new guys for the Battery, and find out what it's like for him to be a part of it all. So it's Mike Kelleher, Robbie Crawford, it's you and it's me. Get you ready for Atlanta United 2 on the weekend. Charleston Battery Weekly coming up just around the corner. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
As a business owner, you know that every year brings new challenges and opportunities. The success of your business demands expertise and focus. And Country Financial can help you keep that focus by helping ensure you have the right insurance protection in place to meet your goals. Jason Wright can help you create a customized insurance plan that has coverages designed just for your business. Give Jason a call at 678-568-6871 or reach him on Facebook at Jason Wright Agency. Coverages vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Georgia. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Georgia High School Association and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolinski of Apolinski & Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
Welcome back, Charleston Battery Weekly, the A block, which means it's Special K. I guess we got to come up with We got to come up with a catchy title for this block, Mike.
No, I like it. Special K is good with me.
Special K hanging out, the Chief Operating Officer of the Charleston Battery. Got a couple of different topics to get into, and I guess let's go back into the week that was and the rivalry match, the Carolina Derby with Charlotte. What were your takeaways from that match?
Yeah, obviously, you know, when you play away from home, you take a draw. More often than not, you take a point than nothing, obviously, and you know, Charlotte certainly up their game. It was they certainly looked a better team than they had done previously, and that was probably them getting back into the swing of things more than anything. They had been played less games, so you know, we would like to have taken all three, but settle for a point, I suppose.
When it comes to a rivalry like this, and in this sprint that is the USL Championship here in 2020, it's a bit of a different tack because, you know, they're not a part of group, but it's still a match that matters, and it's a part of that dynamic that we all kind of have to look at in 2020. It's like you have to focus on what's going on with Tampa and with you and with Atlanta United 2 and with the Miami FC, and then at the same time you have to duck out, hop in buses, drive up to Charlotte for a game that means just as much for different reasons.
Yeah, but very true, and I think as we talked last week, you know, when the schedule was being looked at for the revamped season, it was important to us to keep the Charlotte game and NCFC for that matter, that they were games that are important to us to continue the Carolina rivalries, and in many respects that week it was the shortest game we had to play because, as we said before, it's the trip to Tampa, Atlanta, and then Charlotte being the least travelled of the three. So certainly important. You know, a point is a point, and you look to add to that in the coming weeks.
When you talk to the new guys about games like Charlotte, I mean, what are the conversations like about the importance? I know that everybody who comes in and wears a Charleston Battery kit understands what it means to be a member of the Battery, but how much other explaining has to go on about, okay, this game's important too, and here's why? How much of an introduction do the players get for the new guys, specifically in a game like the one against Charlotte?
Yeah, I think you leave that sort of stuff to the coaching staff, and I think if you had Mike Handhauser on here now, he would say every game's important, and you hear players say that at whatever level they're at, even if they're playing in a Rangers Celtic or Arsenal Tottenham or whatever it may be, they'll say the most important game's the next one. So I think, unfortunately there were no fans there, as we know, and maybe it's not got the big excitement as previous years, but I think players take games in their stride, and every game is an important one in many respects.
So is there a comparison of Old Firm to Carolina derbies now?
I think I was using that to stress my point, but it'd be nice to compare it in the future at some point, wouldn't it?
All right, let's talk about Group H here for a little bit. And Tampa Bay, they are a tough veteran side, and they are trying to put the pedal down as quickly as possible and try to distance themselves. When you look at Group H right now, what do you see?
Yeah, obviously Tampa's the team to beat right now. Unbeaten in the season. They've come out well. We watched the game last night with Atlanta, and again, seeing the first 20, 30 minutes, Atlanta had most of the ball. I think they had most of the ball throughout the whole of the game, but certainly that first 20, 30 minutes. And however, the experience, I think the hydration break came at a good time for Tampa, and they got the goal straight after and never looked back after that. So they're definitely becoming the team to beat. We know we've still got them to play 3 times. I thought, I was at the Tampa game, and I thought we were a little unfortunate not to come away with a point. We reflected on it after the game, and although we lost 2-0 in the game, we went down to 10 men, and up until the point of going down to 10 men, we were certainly in it. So, they've got the momentum, no doubt about that, and we hope to take some points off them in the near future, but certainly the team to beat right now.
And looking into this weekend, obviously you're not going to have Renico Clark as a part of your equation heading into a big match in Group H against Atlanta United too. When you look at the guys getting ready for this particular match, there are no off games. There is no off time because of the amplified importance of group play and making sure that you're the number 1 or the number 2 here, but you're going to do it without one of your important cogs.
Sure, and that's part of building a squad of players. At the start of the season, obviously we were expecting to play 34 games and Open Cup and other games here and there, and you build a squad to get you through the season. And what was nice going back into this was that we had a full squad of players in the middle of July, which was unusual. So now, of course, with the games coming thick and fast, players will pick up knocks and injuries, and that's what your squad's for. So I think we're well equipped going into Saturday to cover for Renico, and it gives other players an opportunity, doesn't it, to come in and stake their claim for a starting place.
Yeah, you mentioned fans a little earlier, and you also, before we came on and had our weekly group of Special K, you mentioned something that I thought was really cool. I know it's a concern for clubs across all divisions right now when it comes to the United States soccer landscape, but you mentioned something that I thought was really cool to have fans integrated into the match this weekend.
Yeah, we've extended an invite to 20 of the regiment, which is our fan supporters group, to come into the game. We had some sponsors earlier on. No more than 20, socially distanced. They won't be allowed in the stands right now. They'll have a set place where they've got to stand. If it's the same household, those 2 people can stand together or be in the same area together. We talked long and hard internally about opening this up a little bit more, this game. We still feel it's a bit too soon for us. We think, erring on the side of caution. There's nothing more. We would love to have the place packed out, the new stadium, but we think we've got a responsibility to the community, to the people here, not to do that right now. And I think, we'll hopefully this goes well, and we'll ramp it up a little bit more for August 26th. Have a few more in, and we'll see what the cases are like in the Charleston area, the COVID case numbers, etc., and all that sort of stuff.
And I know that this is something that has to be constantly monitored, because you can have a plan in place and you're hoping that personal responsibility is being well received and it's being adhered to so you can have moments like this on Saturday. When it comes to having these kinds of discussions, is it a fairly constant daily thing to try to figure out what you can and can't do at Patriots Point?
Yes, pretty much so. Between myself, the ownership, and some of the other front office people, we're talking constantly. Obviously, looking at when the numbers come out in terms of the COVID cases, particularly for Charleston County, Berkeley County, which are close to us. Are they on the increase? Are they coming down? What are things like schools doing? What are bars, restaurants doing? What's the local government saying? So all those things come into the mix, and then what are other teams doing up and down the country? We see the MLS game last night. I think Dallas and Nashville had a few fans in. We see Greenville are opening up this Saturday. We speak a lot to Greenville. Have a great relationship with their front office and what they're doing. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. They're expecting quite a large number going into that facility. So we're constantly monitoring it. But safety is obviously number one. It's the number one priority of our spectators, our players, our staff, and we'll continue to keep that as the number one priority.
All right, off the board for the last question in this go-around of Special K with Mike Kelleher, the Chief Operating Officer of the Charleston Battery. Champions League. We've seen Atalanta, and I'm sure that everybody who loves the underdog, you were that close to seeing Atalanta knock off PSG. PSG, you see them get 2 goals in 149 seconds. They make their way through. What are you looking at in Champions League right now when you have those moments to yourself and get to see the final 8?
Yeah, I watched the game yesterday, or most of particularly the end of the game yesterday, and Atalanta and a bit of my past. I was fortunate enough to work at the Premier League for 5 years in youth development, and Atalanta was always the club that was used as an example of a great club with a great youth history. So I really had to look out. I wanted them to do well, and it was heartbreaking for them, obviously, to lose as they did. I think the winner will come out of the Man City, Barcelona, Bayern Munich. You'd expect Man City to beat Lyon, and then the winner from that semi-final. I think Bayern Munich would be hard to stop. So, being English, I hope Man City do well. I know a lot of people don't like to hear, Man United fans don't hope they do well, but I hope they do well. But it'll be interesting for sure the next few days.
We'll keep an eye on that, and we'll discuss these kind of off-the-board topics as they come to the fore. Mike, as always, thanks for hanging out with us for another round of Special K. We'll catch up with you next week.
No problem. Enjoyed it, John. Thank you.
Player Spotlight coming up around the corner. You're listening to Charleston Battery Weekly. OSG Sports, SGH Networks will be right back after this.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
As a business owner, you know that every year brings new challenges and opportunities. The success of your business demands expertise and focus. And Country Financial can help you keep that focus by helping ensure you have the right insurance protection in place to meet your goals. Jason Wright can help you create a customized insurance plan that has coverages designed just for your business. Give Jason a call at 678-568-6871 or reach him on Facebook at Jason Wright Agency. Coverages vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Georgia. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Georgia High School Association and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolinski of Apolinski and Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
Welcome back, Charleston Battery Weekly. Time for the Player Spotlight.
And now I was talking, Robbie Crawford's in with us this week. And Robbie, I was talking to Mike Kelleher in the previous segment, and we were discussing rivalries. And last week it was the game with Charlotte and Charleston, part of the Carolina Derby. And he was mentioning other rivalries, and Old Firm actually came up as a rivalry. Now, where would you compare Old Firm, which is Rangers and Celtic, to what was going on in your exposure with Charlotte and Charleston? How would you describe them as a rivalry?
To be honest, I mean, obviously there was no crowd at the game, or not no crowd, but there wasn't as many as there usually would be. Obviously, I think I'm going to be biased and say that the Old Firm's slightly edges it, but I think guys that have played in the Old Firm, that have played in derbies in England, all around Europe, they all come back to the Old Firm and say it's one of the most heated and the most intense. So it's definitely difficult to beat the Old Firm.
For those who've never seen it, what are they missing out on?
It's hard to describe. I don't know why. The atmosphere is just something else. The fans are just extra hyped up, extra motivated. They're just desperate to win. Both sides of players are desperate. They know the bragging rights in the city are going to be massive. And literally the stadium's been rocking at times when I've been at them. So it's if it goes well in the day, then it's definitely a good game you want to be involved in.
Can you get me a ticket? Can you get me in the
It's hard enough to get myself one, but I can definitely try to score a few extras.
Attaboy. All right. Now, how do you get from there to here? How did you end up in Charleston?
It's been quite a journey. I spent 15 years at Rangers from when I was only 8, and then right through the academy there. Left school at 16, 17 and went pro, went full-time with them. And then left when I was 23, and then obviously spending such a massive part of my life there, I was quite keen just to go abroad and experience something new and kind of step outside that bubble, if you like. I ended up playing in Iceland, moved to Finland, and then spent 2019 in Finland, and then I played with Zico Lewis in Iceland, and we'd kind of kept in touch a little bit, and he mentioned my name to the coaches and mentioned to me that they were looking for a midfielder, and the opportunity just came up like that. I flew over, not really sure what to expect, and then I had signed within a few weeks, so I never really looked back since, and that's kind of how I got here. Yeah.
So what's it been like for you so far? I know there's that adjustment period that's a part of this whole thing, but what's it like?
I mean, I think I've got a bit of experience, obviously, playing in foreign countries, in Iceland and Finland, so it wasn't a massive shock to me to move to a new culture, and definitely helped that everyone speaks English here, and there's a couple of familiar faces in the team. And then pre-season went really well. All the guys were good to go, and then the lockdown happened, so it's been obviously stop-start, but everyone's in the same boat, and we just need to try and get through it together.
What do you think about this notion of being in basically like a World Cup group stage format right now to determine the knockout stage? What do you think about this sprint that is the USL season this year?
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's been new for everyone, which is always exciting. And if you look around a lot of leagues in Europe, and they're not playing at all. So we're just taking the positives. We're really happy to be back out there, doing what we love, and whatever format that takes, we're happy to compete in.
What's it like in this new normal of COVID-19 where you're having to get on buses and wear masks and be socially distant and at the same time try to do your job? What's this balance been like for you?
Yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, we're not the only ones who have to wear masks. You know, it's the law pretty much everywhere you go in Charleston at the minute. So it's not just us that have to deal with it. We've got a job to do when we get to the stadium. Obviously, it's a long bus ride, but I think a lot of guys are used to that from playing in college, and myself playing in Finland last year. There was a lot of travelling, so it's nothing new in that sense. But there are obviously a lot of protocols and guidelines that go along with it that are an added challenge. But again, it's definitely worth it if it means that we're allowed to play and everyone's safe.
When it comes to Charleston in and of itself? How much adventuring have you had the chance to get under your belt?
First couple of weeks, not so much. I was really just focused on on training, and then after I signed, we went straight into pre-season, and then as soon as the season started, I was back home sorting my visa, and then came back out and the lockdown happened. So it's been a bit of a challenge to see the city at its best, but from what I have seen, it's genuinely a really lovely city, and people have been really welcoming. Can still go to the beach on occasion if it's safe to do so, and check out the sites that way. But in general, it's been hard to obviously experience it fully. But from what I have seen, I've really enjoyed it.
What about the food? Because every single week on this show, I talk to the guys, and they mention this one particular taco joint. Is that something that you've had the chance to sample yet?
I have been to one or two taco places. What's the one they're talking about?
Tiki.
Oh, no, I've not been to that one. The boys do mention that quite a lot, but no, I've not been there yet.
So what have you had the chance to sample? What have you sampled that you've been hanging on to, and what have you liked so far?
I have been out to a couple of places we get takeaway. A couple of taco night, tavern and table, is it?
Okay.
Tavern and table, yeah. They supplied the team with a couple of nice takeaway meals. I see grits on the menu a lot. It's not something I've sampled yet, but that seems to be pretty common around here. Maybe
you haven't sampled grits?
No, I've not gone for it yet.
Is there anything else that you've seen on a Southern / Charleston menu that you sit there and you just go, I don't know about that?
Nothing springing to mind. Grits does seem to appear a lot, which kind of catches the eye. There's a lot of obviously barbecued meat, which I'm happy to go for, but maybe just need to save it for once in a while. Obviously, playing quite a lot these days and training a lot, so need to.
In this sprint that is the season, when you're out there playing for Charleston, if you could describe your game to folks who are watching for the first time, how would you break down what you do?
Yeah, I think I enjoy getting on the ball, playing short passes, long passes, kind of trying to dictate the tempo of the game. I feel like those are my main strengths. Energy without the ball, I feel like I've got a pretty good capacity to run up and down and try to help the team in attack and defence. So just try to play to my strengths. Use my experience. There's obviously a lot of young guys in the team now, so just help out the team as much as I can.
All right. So getting ready for Atlanta United 2. I know that this upcoming weekend it's at your place, and last time out it was a grinder going up against the Stripes. What's study hall been like? What's it been like getting ready for this particular matchup on your home turf, knowing that it really is, it's a playoff 6-pointer if you really think about it, because Atlanta United 2 needs to get some wins to get closer to you guys in the standings in second in Group H. So, if you could call it like in British football, it'd be a relegation 6-pointer. This is a playoff 6-pointer.
Yeah. Obviously, all the guys are aware of what's at stake. We've had some positive results against them lately, but at the same time, we don't want to take anything for granted. We had a tough week last week, 3 games all the way from home in the week, so a lot of travelling, and it's been really good this week to be at home all week, get a good week of training down at Patriots, and we've done some footage on them. We know we're fairly confident of what to expect, and obviously we've played them a lot, so I think the boys will have a good idea of what we're up against, but at the same time, don't want to get complacent, and we know we need to stick to what we're good at and hopefully get the 3 points.
You won't have Renico Clark as a part of the lineup with the red card that he picked up last weekend in Charlotte. What does that absence mean to everybody else and the importance of picking up that slack?
Yeah, these things happen. Obviously, Jared's had one before, and we just have to find a way to adapt. We've got Jared and Leland who are both, excellent at the back and solid, and they've got a good partnership in other games, so hopefully they can keep that going. And we know there's going to be competition. We're going to need to use the full squad for all these games, so everyone's ready and need to deal with these things as they come.
Big contest coming up this weekend in Group H. Atlanta United 2 comes to Patriots Point to take on the Charleston Battery. And in the player spotlight, the man who has promised me an in to Old Firm when I've asked about it, Robbie Crawford. Robbie, thanks for being a part of the show this week, and thanks for being a part of the player spotlight. Thanks for putting up with my lack of technological knowledge to get this interview done. Thanks for being a part of the show.
No problem. Had a few issues, but glad we got there.
No doubt. Thanks for hanging out with us. That's Player Spotlight. We'll put a bow on the show, and we come back. You're listening to Greenville Triumph Weekly, SDH Network's OSG Sports. We'll be right back after this.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire, and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
As a business owner, you know that every year brings new challenges and opportunities. The success of your business demands expertise and focus. And Country Financial can help you keep that focus by helping ensure you have the right insurance protection in place to meet your goals. Jason Wright can help you create a customized insurance plan that has coverages designed just for your business. Give Jason a call at 678-568-6871 or reach him on Facebook at Jason Wright Agency. Coverages vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Georgia. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Georgia High School Association and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolinski of Apolinski and Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
Time to put a bow on yet another show for Charleston Battery Weekly. Thanks for hanging out with us as always. Glad to catch up with Mike Kelleher. Glad to catch up with Robbie Crawford. And thanks for hanging out with us as well. Reminder, ESPN Plus is the site for Charleston Battery and Atlanta United 2 on your Saturday. Go to charlestonbattery.com for all the information that you need to get you ready for that particular matchup, all the opportunities that you need to get all your new 2020 gear, and everything else in place when it comes to the Charleston Battery. So charlestonbattery.com, get you ready for Atlanta United 2 and the Battery, big Group H matchup on the weekend. Once again, thanks to you for hanging out with us. Play it safe, everybody. We'll see you next time, and enjoy the games this weekend.